Are you tired of people always telling you what you want to hear and not what you need to hear? Me too. Are you ready to actually do something about it? Hi, I'm Loren Lahav, and for the past 30 plus years, I've been blessed to speak and to impact thousands of people around the world. I've shared the stage with the world's top thought leaders, including Barbara Walters, Tony Robbins, Barbara Corcoran, and Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm also a personal development, lifestyle, and business coach, event producer, and entrepreneur with businesses in over 25 countries. I'm a wife and a proud mama to 3 and a bonus mom to 1. Trust me when I tell you, it took me many years of buying into my old story of I'm not enough and lots of grit to finally let go of the BS. So I understand firsthand what it means and what it took. They don't call it the school of hard knocks for nothing. This podcast is my way of breaking down the BS filters of what we say, what we do, and how we interact with others. I will be sharing what worked for me, yet more importantly, what didn't work for me. This is a no fluff podcast where we will address real life issues that seem to surface when you least expect it, relationship conflict and breakdowns, and real solutions. I will share from my life experiences and those of other everyday heroes, as well as the world's top experts, are all here to help you grow through the process of letting go and finally expressing your true voice, who you are and what you stand for. In a world of political correctness and living our lives on social media, it's hard to know what is real. And are you taking in so much information but not applying what you've learned? In my life, I always look to the people who understand what I'm going through and are willing to get honest and forthcoming with me to help me grow through these challenges. Trust me, I've had them all, and I'm going to take the time to be as real as possible and get to solutions. I've had financial issues, parenting issues, marriage issues, emotional issues. You know, the list goes on. I've learned from my challenges, I've grown from them, and continue to learn from them. I see them now as opportunities. With this podcast, we're going to tune up our lives. I'll be your cup of espresso to get you through whatever you're going through in your life that's holding you back, to give you that confidence and trust of knowing someone is there to help and guide you, yet you have to do the work. So strap in, hang on tight, and let's get real. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's podcast. Super excited. You're going to love this because I think everybody has lots of questions about the issue that we're going to talk about. And it is an honor to introduce you to John Vuong. Is it Vuong? Did I say that correctly? Okay. That was pretty good. I'm pretty impressed that I said it correctly myself. So anyway, he is a seasoned sales professional and internet marketer with an exceptional track record, helping companies grow their clientele and profits. Throughout the past 15 years of experience, he's worked with CEOs, business owners, marketing leaders in some of Canada's most successful corporations. And his parents were among the last of the boat people refugees who immigrated from South Vietnam in 1980. He was born a few months later, and I'm sure he'll share a little bit about that experience with us of coming over here. His parents as immigrants, and early on he embraced the value of hard work, which I love that, right? We know how important that is. Throughout his adolescent and early adulthood, he held a number of jobs and studied with many challenges faced by business owners. He set a goal to one day own a business and give back to his local community. Anyway, it goes on forever. His resume goes on and on forever. I just actually want to talk to him because he talks a lot about being an entrepreneur, as well as talks about digital agencies and the importance of search engine optimization. So welcome, John. I'm so excited to have you here because I think the whole thing about search engine optimization, I would love if you would talk a little bit about, I would say, attention all Kmart shoppers. What is search engine optimization for those that don't know, and why is it so important to understand search engine optimization?
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks a lot for the intro, Loren. Excited to be on your show as well. I wanted to first off let you know, like search engine optimization is short for it's called SEO, short term, but really what it is if you search on Google, Bing, or Yahoo, usually it's that toolbar. You type in a keyword, usually it comes up with search results. And as a business owner, you might have a website, you probably do as a digital asset, and you want to appear on that first page of Google organically, which is naturally. So I help businesses appear on that first page on the map and below the map, which is more natural appearing, because what Google is looking for is the best search query match of the user and the business. And what we try to do is position those businesses to become more experts and thought leaders in their niche community, so that more customers, potential ideal customers of theirs, can seek their services out or product.
Awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about, and then we're going to get into talk about you and you as an entrepreneur. But I just find that I want people to really understand what it is, because I think, I mean, my son is an Instagram influencer, and he's always saying, Mom, he goes, be careful. He goes, you've got all these friends. I can tell you which of your friends are buying paid ads, and it's not real. They're not real followers, or, you know, he goes, Mom, you're actually doing it right, because you're just building it based on people that you know and people that you've really had an influence on. So could you talk a little bit as well about how do you know who to work with regards to search engine optimization? Because I've had so many people approach me like, hire me to come do your search engine optimization. And I'm like, I don't know what I should be looking for, questions I should be asking.
Yes. So search engine optimization is, in terms of digital marketing, one pillar, one aspect out of paid search, like on Google, you can pay ads. There's also behavioral. You can use their platform, digital network, to then have ads appear in their platforms. Then there's social media advertising like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. There's ways to advertise in there. There's email marketing, where if you have a list, you can advertise digitally as well. There's a lot of online ways to market your business. Search engine optimization is more inbound lead generation. It's a little bit different than any other paid media, because it's more earned media, and very similar to how I would say Yellow Pages worked. I worked there. I worked at Yellow Pages for 5 years.
Oh.
And before I started this agency 8 years ago, the reason I started this to get into SEO is because all my customers at Yellow Pages, and I worked with thousands of them, they were frustrated that not only were they not getting the same amount of lead source, qualified buyers, users were changing their behaviors, shifting away from traditional printed phone book to then digital search. And there's a different way to look at the phone book as well. So Yellow Pages was a great medium for a lot of these small business owners, because it already attracted ready to buy customers, actively seeking out their product and service. And when they're ready, they're going to pick up the Yellow Pages. There's obviously the white pages at the back that were more branded search. But when it came to a niche category, Yellow Pages was there. And if you look in dentists, there's hundreds of dentists in every single local market. But how do you pay to play, right? So within the dentist category, big ads, smaller ads, content, call to action, all these bait and switch, whatever. There's all these terms that you can put in their services, etc. Move fast forward to Google now, kind of replace what Yellow Pages did very well. Had an engaged audience, people ready to buy, actively seeking out a keyword or a term or a service or product of someone that's ready, right? They're probably going to vet, because on the map, there's third-party reviews on Google, on Facebook, on, Yellow Pages, Yelp. There's reviews. Then there's the content piece, right? What services do you actually provide? So there's different terms for every service. There's different queries for every type of buyer as well. Someone that wants to do it themselves, someone that's ready to buy navigational services. Then there's transactional queries that are like, I'm ready to buy. What is the best, top, most affordable, best priced, right? And then after the funnel, there's different terms as well. So you're going to hit them with different terms throughout that journey. And as your website is now the pivotal point of the biggest asset piece online, you need to understand how to make it play a critical part in your business. And I know you're an Instagram, influencer, and your son is.
It's my son. Yeah, it's him.
Yeah, your son is. So Instagram is a different medium altogether, and it replaced magazines, right?
Right.
Facebook is a different beast altogether, and it's more community friends, focused, right? Twitter replaced, I would say, news feeds, right? 24/7 news. People are wanting real-time data. LinkedIn is the job board, right, for social media. YouTube is videos, and that replaced a lot of the TV streaming sites, right? So you have to understand, like, mediums have transitioned to digital media now. And traditional was newspaper, flyer, trade shows, magazines, directories, billboard, signage. And then now it's podcasts, there's video, there's social media, there's search, there's different avenues. And you have to understand, like, whoever your customers are consuming the data, you need to be present. And Google plays a role in all aspects of the search and buying decision. And if you're able to understand the value, the whole magnitude of search, you can dominate your local market or any market in industry if you understand the game of positioning yourself as a thought leader.
I love this. I mean, you have broken it down so well. I think it's the first time ever I've heard somebody break it down as well as you have. I love what you said. I heard a guy many years ago, a young boy, and he was the first person to jack an iPhone. What do you call it? When you crack an iPhone to just be able to get in there. But he said, that he was talking to a bunch of people that were in their 40s and 50s, and he was like, look, you guys are the digital immigrants. He was referring to us as digital immigrants. And he goes, and we're the digital pioneers, right? I mean, I used to work for a newspaper. It was called the Northern Virginia Sun. And I remember selling advertising, and it was all about couponing, right? The way it was like, how do we tell if people are going to come in and if we're going to get the results? And it was all about whether or not people would redeem their coupon. But as we talk about, the concepts are constant, techniques vary. And I love how you just said, Instagram replacing magazines, Facebook with regards to community, Twitter with regards to newsfeed, LinkedIn, job boards, YouTube, TV. That's just awesome. That just breaks it down. So thank you is all I can say. I feel like I can breathe a little bit right now. So actually to know where to direct my attention, right? Lots of times, because I think everybody's looking like, how do I become an expert in everything? So I can see you're excited to talk about that. So
yeah, so you have to understand your industry, your space, your product and service, and who you want to become known as an expert. And then most importantly, who is your customer?
Right.
So if you don't know who your customers are, everything you do is irrelevant. But you need paying customers to understand who they are and what medium and channels that they spend most of their time on, consume information, what data, what questions do they want answered, why did they pick you in the first place, and your digital asset piece of not just your website, but all these magnitude of digital assets should be in alignment, should be synchronized so that it portrays the same content and imagery of yourself to position yourself as a thought leader. And with Google, I think it is the most dominant search engine, and it's probably the most easy for customers or users to actually actively be in control and seek out information. And so they're in control. It's fast, affordable, and it's real time information. With social media and Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you're disrupting their frame of mind by putting an ad in place of someone's checking out the feed of their friends or checking out what's going on in their space, right? It's different because they're not in control of what they're seeking out. It's like magazine ad, right? It's like newspaper ad. People go to newspaper ads to look through the news, and maybe they have a coupon, call to action, or something of value at that time of purchase. Same with flyers, same with magazines, radio, whatever. But when you're ready to buy, you used to pick up that Yellow Pages. Free, went out once a year, updated once a year, and it's most comprehensive business directory out there. Fast forward to Google, same thing. Free, fast, most up to date, and you're in control. So it's the same, but people forget it.
I love that you went to, it sounds like I really just want to honor you for a second, because it sounds like when you were at the Yellow Pages, you went there to kind of do your market research so that you could create your company.
Well, not really. I knew there's a shift, right? Like
Oh,
for me,
okay.
I was a sales rep, so I was front line, and my customers were telling me, I'm spending more than ever, I'm getting less return than ever, and I need to change. And I either go with Yellow Pages or go somewhere else and figure it out. I had no experience with SEO. I'm not technically inclined. I have no, digital space, but I had a sales background and I listened.
And you saw a wound that people had. You saw a pain that they had, that they were spending the money, and that you're a good guy, right? And then it sounds like you just went in because you really wanted to help solve
Exactly.
the wound that a lot of people had. Yeah.
As long as you understand the pain point and you're authentic, right? And you actually lay it out saying, I'm new or I'm, seasoned and I'm going to make mistakes, but are you in with me? There's a lot of companies out there to choose.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be honest with people, and it's okay to make mistakes. Yeah. And let people in on it. And I got better over the last couple of years. And now I'm very confident speaking on this matter because I've been doing it for 8 years. I have a big team. I've worked with hundreds of SEO clients, deal with a lot of professional services, and I've helped them get good results. So I can speak on this matter. But now, after 8 years, I feel confident doing this stuff.
Right. I mean, it's we talk about that, time in the trenches is important. I just got back from teaching a program that I've taught for 19 years, off and on. I did it for 2 years straight for 36-week-long programs a year. And then I would do a couple programs a year, over the rest of the time. And then I haven't done an event in 2 years, but it was, I just picked it right back up. And someone goes, man, Loren, you really embody that. And I'm like, well, I would hope so. I've taught it enough. I've been doing enough, just like you. You've worked with so many companies and you've helped them get the results that you're like, oh, I hope I would be getting the results. They talk about that all the time. Let's talk about what caused you to go, though. I mean, it takes a lot of courage. I think a lot of people really want to be entrepreneurs. They might be working for a company and then they go, God, I really want to be, I see a wound. I know I can help, and they want to be an entrepreneur. What got you to make this shift other than just, because it wasn't just that you saw the pain, you had the courage to take a big deep breath, it sounds like, and say, I'm going to start from scratch and build a company. But what happened? How'd you do that?
So 8 years ago, I think it's life situation, right? And you're thrown in there. You either make a shift or not. So I was doing sales. I was doing okay. Like, Yellow Pages here in Canada, there were 2,000 sales reps there. And I was one of them. And, you either go with the sinking ship or you look for another sales opportunity. So for me, I was looking for sales opportunities, but then I was like, in back of mind, as long as I can try something new, and my wife was so super supportive, I had the base, I had the foundation that I needed, right? And I was determined, right? I was working a lot of hours at the beginning, committed to myself to get better, to always improve to the best I can, be in control of it, right? So these are things that not everyone understands. Like if you have uncertainty, you have pain points and challenges, like you have to have a solid foundation. Without that, it's very difficult for you to go on any, venture journey, because it's hard, right? Support wise, my wife was there. We just moved, we got married, and I was kind of out of a job, right? But she was okay with that for the first couple of years. I didn't pay myself. I kind of worked 16, 18 hours, didn't have a family yet, didn't have children. So things were okay for me at that time. Different people have different situations. Perspective is huge, right? So for me, I wanted to be in control and do something so that I can live more of an abundance life. And work on a agency or a company that fits and mold my lifestyle. Right. And that's so important because you're taking that huge risk. And not a lot of people are willing to take that risk. So you shouldn't be working in the trenches for others because, yes, you need to survive, but people have to understand, like, you're taking that huge risk because anyone can kind of work under someone else, right? Get a job, more stability. But when you're an entrepreneur or business owner, it's 100% self-employment, right? And it's dictated on revenue or sales, and it's up to you to go out there and seek that. So for me, it was timing, and very, very much I had a lot of hard work over the years. Like growing up, didn't have much. Just the upbringing was solid, core foundation of family first, and understanding, like, as long as I have committed to myself to do the best I can and support one another, like the immediate family and friends, at least I can sleep at night. I think that's the biggest thing. You're doing things ethically and you're doing everything the right way, and slow and steady wins the race as opposed to like fast growth hacking. There's a lot of dreamers out there, and I'm always about slow and steady, more experience, the better.
And it's interesting that you say that, because I talk to people about that a lot, with regards to people. I'm very proud of my time in the trenches. Like a lot of people say to me, like, Lauren, why aren't you like, just going out there and like, I don't know. I talked to Bob Proctor. You're in Canada, so you probably know who Bob Proctor is. And I remember he did the foreword for my book, The Courage to Raise a Gentleman. And I said to him, I said, Bob, I owe you a huge apology. And he goes, what are you talking about? I go, oh, I was so arrogant when I was in my 20s and 30s. Like, I got this. I'm gonna be like, just blow it up with regards to the world of personal development. Sorry, my dogs decided they want to say hello to somebody. But I said to him, I go, man, I said, just your years of experience, of just there's something to be said about experience. Yes. So anyway, I agree with you totally. I'm one of those girls. I want to make sure that we always say, you shouldn't take somewhere you haven't been before, right? So that means, the experiences that you've had and people that you've worked with. And like you said, it's almost like you've earned the right to be there. Versus like just kind of hacking your way through and being a spark versus just a beautiful flame that continues to go on. So let's talk a little bit more about that. I want to talk about that. It's an important message, because I think everybody's looking for the hack, right? Everybody's looking for the diet pill that's going to have them lose instead of like going to the gym. I see you're into health. I look over on your bookshelves over there, and you see my books behind me. So we're both into books and into health, I see. So let's talk about that, though, about the hacks. Some hacks are good, right? Some hacks are good, but not to hack your whole life where you're not building a strong foundation, if you would.
I think the biggest thing I've learned over the last couple of years, I read quite a bit. I read 1 or 2 books a week. And, from happiness goals to business to hacks to whatever it is, health. The key is I'm always learning. I'm always ready, and I'm curious all the time because there's never enough information out there. And as long as I'm willing to try something new and be okay with it. Growing up, again, I'm the 4th child of immigrant family from Vietnam. My parents sacrificed everything to come here to Canada. We didn't know the language, have no support. We lived on food stamps, government housing, everything. But they raised us really well. They took care of us. They understood family. We always had dinner together. We had a roof on our table, and that's all we needed to understand, like, we have an opportunity just like everyone else. We didn't come from privilege. We earned it. All my siblings are now engineers, right? I'm the only kind of business person in the family. But we worked hard. We educated ourselves. We wanted to be like everyone else, to have a home, have a car, have a family, raise a family in suburbs or whatever it is, right? And be able to have choice. And that's what everyone's dream is. I feel, being in the Western culture, it's like, again, as an immigrant,
I mean, I'll just have to say that I love Vietnam. I mean, as I shared with you earlier before we started, my son, I wanted to take my middle son, the Instagram one. We went on a trip, just the two of us, and we went to Vietnam. Went with an organization called the Starkey Foundation, and there were supposed to be like two groups of people that went with us, and we get the final itinerary, and I'm like, where's the other like group, that like the other 10 people that are joining us? And they're like, oh, they're not coming, it's just you and your son and the crew, the audiologists. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? And they're like, well, we're still going to do 5,000 hearing aids. So we went to Da Nang, and we went to Saigon, and we went all over southern Vietnam to these small villages. And the one thing that was very, very consistent was the work ethic and the appreciation for everything. Like you said, like the values of community, the values of family, but just that value for just like who they are. And I just want to talk a little bit though about you said something about earnership. I think that that's a big thing I'd love to talk about as well right now. So
Yeah. So for me, like growing up, has always been, trying to fit in. And we didn't know what we didn't know. We had each other. We didn't ever have a sleepover. We didn't go out for meals because of the situation, right? So I always wanted to travel to experience life, right? Like, and what growing up, my travel was 1 hour away. I live in a small town called Hamilton, and an hour away was Toronto. And my parents would get actually a free ticket to a festival called Canadian National Exhibition, and it was a carnival, right? Once a year we get free tickets to this carnival, and for me that's what my joy was growing up, all throughout from I would say 10 to maybe 18 years, right? That was my experience of travel. And that might not be normal for a lot of Western cultures today, right? But for me, it was great because that's how I remember it. And growing up, I'm like, life is all about like little micro experiences and moments, and embrace it. Live in the present and now. And a lot of people are like dreaming about something big and great. It's great to have goals. It's great to have a vision. It's great to have, be huge ambitions, right? Everyone wants to make an impact in the society. You need to really embrace what you have and live in the moment. And throughout these years, and I've had so many jobs, even before I started working in sales. Before I finished college, university, I had like 20 or 30 different jobs.
Yeah.
Right? And since then, I had many jobs before I started this company.
From each one of them, right? Like I think people feel like that they have like one, if they don't get like the one thing, they got to find like the one thing right away. I don't know about you, like I learned about selling programs and then selling hot dogs, and then
exactly
clothing store, right? That's the texture to give you that appreciation for all the different. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just was thinking about it. Me too. Just basically saying me too.
Yeah, like life experience of not just from work, social, community, parents, if you have great upbringing, family, like your neighbors, if you go to church, you go to hobbies or whatever, there's people that you should surround yourself with. Positive influences, there's obviously negative ones as well. Gravitate towards them. Pick and choose, right? Have choice.
So let's talk for a second. I mean, some hacks are good. Some hacks are, I don't know, maybe not putting out to the world the truth of who people really are or what the products really are. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think a big thing is storytelling and being authentic and raw. And the more transparent you are with yourself, even, the more realistic and type of expectations you have transpired in all media channels. And a lot of these people who are claiming to be experts without actually living it themselves, I don't know what they're getting out of it, right? Maybe it's a quick win, maybe it's instant gratification. However, when people start spending money with these type of people, they'll realize very quickly, if they're savvy enough, that they're not the real deal. And there's going to be a lot more harm to their ego than if they were truthful to what they were presenting. And what I've learned, even early days, and even what I've been doing for the last 8 years, is I've let people in on my entire journey,
Yep.
not just little bits and pieces. Because yes, life stages. I was early phase entrepreneur when I started 8 years ago. And I was honest with people saying when I was selling SEO services, I'm new, but in 5 years, you're going to know about me because I'm going to be devoted to really do the best and continue adding value and providing the best experience for you as a business, as well as understanding what it really takes to become the best. So I had my own willpower and really desire to make an impact.
I adore you. I mean, I don't know you. I don't know how God brought us together, but I adore you because I think that that is true. I mean, you've got to let people in on your whole journey. It's somebody just commented on a post that I did. They didn't know me. Somehow they found out through me, and they were on my Facebook page because my Facebook page is, I'm not all pretty when I'm doing Facebook lives. I'm like showing my dogs barking or showing life happening, and I think that, like you said, that's what people want. They want to know that you're like them and that you're willing to be vulnerable to help them get their outcomes as well.
And,
So
and you connect with more real people, not just people that want a certain thing. Like everyone, I think it's human. Everyone understands what it's like if you've gone through the trenches. If
yep.
you started a business or if you thinking of starting a business, it's not for everyone. It's not easy. But people who've gone through it for many years, you'll understand the challenges, tribulations, the failures, the so many mistakes that you've got done, right? And you can always improve for sure. There's always things that you could have done better. But as long as there's slow progress.
Better, like I just shared with you, I'm like, I got to know like what I need to do. Help me make my SEO better. Like I want to be better. It's. I think that that's all I've been. And there's so many times, like I was sharing with you, like I've always gone like, how do I know the right person, to deal with? And I think a lot has to do with connection, and I love the connection just of who you are, what you stand for. He asked me to edit it out, but I didn't want to edit it out. His beautiful son came in the room and who's 5 years old. And I mean, that's the richness and that I love right now of what's happening in the world, for people to really be able to be with their families, work from home. You hear my dogs barking in the background with every person walking by. But that's really what it's about. So what's the one thing you want people to know about being an entrepreneur and about stepping into your greatness as an entrepreneur, if it's for you?
Yes, if it's for you, I would say have goals, vision, but align it with your values, right? Be yourself, but do something about it. Constantly move forward and ahead. And yes, there's going to be challenges. Yes, there's going to be regret and failure, and there's going to be mistakes along the way. Don't let that impact your ultimate goal, right? Because it is a journey. Life is a journey. It's broken down to many years, to days, to hours, to seconds, right? Make the most of it because you only have a finite amount of time on earth. And the people you surround yourself with, the information that you surround yourself with, the experiences that you have, like you are in control of your destiny, right? Like figure that out, what you want to do, who you want to surround yourself with, what goals that you have, people you want to spend time with, food that you want to eat, health wise, take care of yourself. All these things are choices. Everyone has whatever they want to do with their time. But if you have control over it versus someone dictating how you should live, you should have abundance of happiness, satisfaction in life.
And you have a lot of appreciation for that because you know what? There's some countries that we don't have these choices. They don't have choices like this, right? I mean, you've been in that situation where maybe you didn't have choice, and that's why you have so much. Am I right, or that you have so much appreciation?
So my parents sacrificed everything. So for me, that generation of hard work, willpower, and for the next generation, I live it today. I know people who are going through war, torn countries, third world countries, and they will do whatever it takes to have a better life for the kids to have a better life than they have. So I am living proof that there is good in the world. There are people that are willing to do good. And for me, I want to give, right? I want to make more of an impact by helping others go through challenges, but don't let it impact your life, right? Just keep plugging away. Life is a journey.
And the book I gave I think I gave about 300 copies out. It's one of my favorite books. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. And it's why Viktor Frankl felt that he had to survive the Holocaust, because somebody had to tell the story. My grandparents as well were immigrants. My grandfather deserted the Russian army. He came over here. When he came to the United States, he worked in New York and had a cart, saved all the money to get the rest of the family over. Then it turned out that the tickets were fake. Then he saved again for another year. And then that time the boat was canceled. He didn't get the money back. And so that persistence, right? But I love what you said, like, do it for the next generation. If you focus on doing it for the next generation, or you go, okay, I know this is hard. I know this stinks right now, but you know what? If it's going to help the next generation, then it's worth it. So what's one thing that you do? I'm just curious, John, what's one thing that you do to stay true to yourself?
So I always am living in the present moment. When I'm focused, because mental clarity and trying to just do things, when you have a business, a lot of staff, clients, and a lot of things pulling you, you need to really be present. I stay away from a lot of the distractions and news and, people that pull me that are negative. I really am present. So right now my son's at home, and after this call, I'm spending the rest of the day with him. And I've been doing that since this pandemic, and there's been a lockdown here in Toronto, Canada. We've been spending more time than ever, but I'm embracing it. I'm loving it. I'm so happy and lucky to be in a position of able to do what I do. I love working, but I also more than ever want to spend more time with my son.
I love that. I have my goggles here that remind me to be laser focused right now. And like you said, I get off the call and then I spend my time with my dogs and my husband until the next event of things that happen. That's because my daughter, I let her spend the night out.
There you go.
Because she can, right? Anyway, it has been a pleasure. How do people find out more about you and how to work with you and all that you've got going on?
Yeah, definitely. You can check out my website. It's www.localseosearch.ca. We also have a podcast. It's called Local SEO Today. Just to give you perspective, this podcast was started 2-3 years ago. And I wanted to just share some experiences while working at Yellow Pages, working with thousands of business owners. My VP of sales was at Yellow Pages for 30 plus years in sales. So right there alone, tens of thousands of business owners and myself, a couple of thousand. And we have a lot of insight, not just business insight, but real life experience. And nothing beats real life experience.
Nothing beats real life experience. Amen to that. Well, it has been a pleasure. I can't wait to share you with the world, and go enjoy your day with your son. So
thank you so much, Loren.
How awesome was today? Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and invite your friends to join as well. I'm here for you with fabulous content, great guests, and lots of giveaways. To learn more of how I have taken what I've learned, applied it to my life, helped others find their true voice, text TRUE to 26786, which will give you my top tune-ups and a complimentary 15-minute discovery call with one of our coaches. And remember, keep in touch with me on Instagram at I am Loren Lahav, Facebook Loren Lahav Official, Clubhouse Loren Lahav. Make sure you text TRUE, TRUE, to 26786. Text TRUE, TRUE, to 26786. And remember to always stay true to the amazing person you are.